now that Dynamite's done, let's get into quick previews here. Let's get a quick little preview here of Dynasty. I keep saying Revolution. I don't know why. We start off here. I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way to the top. How about that? Okay. We have Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart. It's the opening match. It's in the opening round, the women's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament quarterfinal. Mercedes Moné, who is the TBS champion, against Julia Hart, the former TBS champion. Look, I think we know where this is going. This is Mercedes Moné, 100%. 100% Mercedes Moné. I mean, Julia Hart will probably get a couple moments here in this match, but let's be honest. You really think Julia Hart's winning this? No, not happening. Would you agree, Chief?
Yeah, and they want to break Jade's record. You think she makes it that far?
She had to go away to October. That to happen, I think.
I don't know if I want to watch that. I'll wait till then.
I don't want either, but I want to put it past him. I would not put it past him at all. From there, we have Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. They teamed up literally tonight as well against Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. Look, this might be that match of the night. Like, that could definitely, steal the show. We're also joined here by Chase Oliver. Chase, what's going on, brother?
Nothing much, man. Good episode of Dynamite.
It really was. Absolutely. It really was a good episode. You want to just join us here for this quick rapid-fire preview of Dynasty?
Sounds good to me.
Mercedes Moné and Julia Hart. We said Mercedes Moné. Do you agree with that?
100%.
Okay. Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. I think this could be that match that could, get all the flips and the crazy spot. That could definitely be that match that you have to go back and rewatch. If for those of you who probably are not going to watch, if you ask what match should I go back and rewatch, this is probably going to be it. I'm going to go with Will Ospreay. 100%. What about you guys?
Yeah, I got Will Ospreay. I think he's gonna win the whole thing.
Could be.
Yeah, Ospreay. I don't think they're gonna have Kevin Knight win, so Ospreay.
Yeah, you have Daniel Garcia defending the TNT Championship against Adam Cole. This match has no time limit and no outside interference is permitted. Let's be honest. Let's get this belt out. Let's get this belt off of Daniel Garcia already. Look, Daniel Garcia is a good wrestler, but that's all he is. He's like Lara Valkyria with the women's Intercontinental title. Good wrestler, but that's it. What else do you have?
You got that little dance.
Look, they gave him the belt as a thank you for re-signing with AEW. It's time to move on. Give it to Adam Cole. What says you guys?
Yeah, I think it's time for Adam Cole to get a championship. So I'm going with Adam Cole.
I think Danny Garcia pulls off the upset and beats Adam Cole. Adam Cole putting over the young guy in Garcia.
Could be.
But it could definitely go Adam Cole's way. I feel Adam Cole probably will win, but something's telling me like Adam Cole's doing this to help Danny Garcia get over a little bit more. Will it work? Who knows? But that's just my hunch on it.
It could very well be. I want to point this out too. On the show, there is no Okada defending the Continental title, by the way. So I want to point that out. You have the Death Riders. My bad. Before I get to that, you got Chris Jericho defending the Ring of Honor World title against Bandito, who will put up his mask. Now, if you guys recall, Chris Jericho took the mask from his brother. I believe it was Gravity. I think it was. He took his mask, right? So there's a little story there, right? What was it? I think this was at the last pay-per-view they had. What was it? Revolution? Yeah, Revolution on the 0 hour. They had the mom and the sister get in the ring and all that stuff. Look, are they really going to have Bandito lose his mask? Considering also this factor in, they do have a pay-per-view coming up soon, Super Card of Honor. Maybe you will want Bandito to win it there. I can see where they might give it to Bandito, but yeah, I'm going to go with Bandito. I'm going to go Bandito on this one. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think Bandito. No way. They just brought him back, too. No way he loses that mask. Unless it could end up being a screwy finish.
For sure. Chase, what about you?
I got Bandito, but I don't think he walks out with the Ring of Honor title. I think maybe Bandito via DQ or something like that. Finish the feud up at Super Card of Honor. Just depends if they want to have Jericho be the draw of Supercard of Honor, or if they trust in Bandito to, be Arena of Honor champion and have him face like whoever the next challenger is for the Arena of Honor title. But I do have Bandito winning, but maybe he doesn't walk out with the championship.
Could very well be as well. Romeo writes here, Cole is a -400.
Oh, that is very interesting. Garcia, I think that's good money on Garcia. I think he's a good underdog. I really do think Tony Khan loves this guy for whatever reason. Like, there's certain guys where I see them, I'm like, Tony Khan loves this guy way too much, and he loves Danny Garcia way too much. I know what's being presented on Collision as like, oh, Adam Cole should probably beat him, but to me, it's also like, man, I just feel like they want to put over Garcia. So
yeah, that too. That is very true as well. He has some type of affection for Daniel Garcia. So we'll see. We have the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli, who just wrestled Cope in the main event tonight, teaming up with Pac and Wheeler Yuta to defend the trios titles against Rated FTR of Cope, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. We saw also tonight there's still some tension between FTR after what happened at Collision where Dax Harwood pushed Cash Wheeler. Dax Harwood today gave $10,000 to the referee. A check, here you go. Told him to cash it on Friday. I don't see Rated FTR winning the titles here. I do see the full heel turn of FTR happening this Sunday. And to be honest, they need the heel turn. At this point, screw it. And you know what? If this leads to Christian and Cope teaming up to take on FTR down the road, maybe at All In, so be it. What says you guys? I'm going with the Death Riders to retain.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Death Riders. I think basically everything Steve said is gonna happen. That's it.
Yeah, Death Riders clean sweep. Cope and the FTR guys have no chance of winning. So
Dax pull a Pat Mahomes, paying the ref early. Oh
man, what are you saying about Pat? He'd be lucky you don't watch AEW, Romeo. Otherwise, he'd be upset with you.
What do you think, Dak? What do you think Pat Mahomes would say, Chase?
I don't know, Steve.
FTR are way better as heels for sure.
I'm not Pat Mahomes. I don't know what goes through that guy's mind.
I know he's again soon to be ATP Gaming Hall of Famer for sure.
Yeah, he has a match at Mystery Vortex. You can ask him himself when it's tomorrow at Mystery Vortex.
We'll ask him tomorrow. Yes, his big match. But we don't know what kind of match. We don't even know what kind of match it is. That's the beauty part about it. We do also have here another one of those matches that, again, if you're not going to watch the show, if you're not going to watch the show, you're going to ask someone who did watch, hey, what match should I go back and give a look? This is another one. Kenny Omega defending the International Championship against Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. Look, we know where this is going. This is leading to. Kenny's going to hold on just until we get to All In against Okada. But I would love for them to surprise me, like, yo, throw me a curveball here, right? Yeah, it would have been nice, if there was some follow-up to this tonight, being that tonight was the go home show. But I'm sure Ricochet is still in his honeymoon, and they might have Speedball on Collision. I'm gonna go with Kenny Omega retaining, and he pins Ricochet, because I don't think we're gonna have Speedball take the loss so fast that since he just signed with AEW. So I'm going with Kenny on this one.
Yeah, basically everything you said was everything I was thinking. I don't see Speedball taking the pin, so I think Kenny pins Ricochet. Damn, I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Kenny wins as well. And then whoever he doesn't pin, he'll face at like Double or Nothing or something. So that's why I think he might pin Speedball, because I think there might be more juice with Kenny and Ricochet. Especially Ricochet can say, you didn't pin me. You didn't beat me. So what makes you think you're done with me? And then we can lead to Kenny versus Ricochet at Arizona. So I actually think he'll pin Speedball in this situation. Speedball gets his nice little reset. He can go cut weird promos talking about, I need to find the inner juju somewhere else or something. Who knows? So
could be. From there, we have Timeless Tony. Timeless Tony's from defending the AEW Women's World Championship against Megan Bayne, who for the last couple of weeks has had her number, right? Laying her out and tonight on Dynamite, Tony Storm did defeat Penelope Ford. Look, I would say, you know what, the way this is going, you would think Megan Bayne is going to walk into the Dynasty and just walk through Tony Storm. They want you to think that it should be like a dominant match, but I do think Tony Storm will find a way to prevail and she will retain her title. So I'm going with timeless Tony Storm on this one.
I'm on the boat with Megan Bayne winning the title. I think it'd be cool to see somebody new that's getting pushed this hard to finally win. Like, you not get the Wardlow treatment. Because after this, what does she do?
Good question. Well, Death Riders are a -1,000, and so is Tony Storm, -1,000.
But I don't think the one loss can hurt Tony.
I guess so.
She's over the moon.
But at the same time, it's like, Tony's been getting her ass beat by Megan Bayne these last couple of weeks on the build up to this match. So you would think by that, Tony's going to prevail at the end, So that's why I'm leaning towards Tony Storm on this one. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I got Tony Storm. I think it's going to be similar to her match with Mariah May, where she'll win with like the small package, and she'll catch Megan Bayne, and Megan Bayne will look really strong, but Tony Storm doesn't walk out the true victor. Even though she did keep the title, it will just be like, oh man, she just barely escaped Megan Bayne. But for all the people that are like thinking Megan Bayne's getting this Brock Lesnar push, it's like, nah, she ain't happening. Tony Storm is their biggest women's draw. You gotta keep Tony Storm strong for All In. It sucks that it comes. It's just the thing with Megan Bayne is just the timing is just not there for her to win at this moment of time. If like this was after All In and this was just like, oh, we need to really start building a new women's star, go right ahead. But Tony Storm is like one of your featured acts and one of your featured players for All In. So I wouldn't have her lose to Megan Bayne here. Not saying Megan Bayne can't get there, but you don't put all this time and investment into Tony Storm just to have her lose to Megan Bayne. But Megan Bayne wouldn't be a bad champion. It's just I don't see Megan Bayne having the same results as like a Tony Storm in terms of like ratings, draws, and everything of that nature. But she is gorgeous and she is great in the ring. So
yes.
Anything can. But I do have Tony Storm winning. But Megan Bayne does win. I would be shocked because no one that's like -1,000 has ever lost in AEW history. So it's like. Yeah, that would be like a huge upset for that to happen.
For sure. And then we get the main event. Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship that's been in the briefcase this entire time of his run as champion, going up against Swerve Strickland. As we saw tonight, Swerve Strickland and Willow Nightingale did pick up the win against Moxley and Marina Shafir. And tonight at the end of the show, we saw the Death Riders lay out Swerve Strickland. They powerbombed him through glass, and obviously, Swerve got up. But there's also another little element here, right? Hangman Adam Page, who did say, over his dead body will Swerve Strickland ever hold the title, right? Doesn't want that to happen, right? So does he play an element into this? Maybe, you would think, right? Some people are suggesting that, hey, that could be a match for All In. That being said, look, I'm going to be honest here. By the way, this is from Romeo, by the way. Mox is -200. Swerve's a +150. I just want Mox to win just for the simple fact that I want to see wrestling Twitter, at the end of Dynasty just lose their minds. I just want to see that. So for that, I'm going with Jon Moxley.
All right. But yeah, I got Mox.
But when you see these odds, I mean, who knows, right?
But the way Hangman got involved tonight, I don't know. I don't know for Swerve.
Yeah, it's true. Chase, what do you think?
I got Mox just because I just think that Swerve being the champion just to hold it for a short while, I don't think does anything good for All Elite Wrestling, to be honest. Like, that's just me. I think Mox is clearly the guy that they want. Like, if Mox beats you, That guy has to be your champion for a long time. You can't just have it where Swerve beats Mox and then you set up Swerve to lose the title to someone else. Like that's the thing. So I think Mox is it's not necessarily the correct decision, but it's a decision you have to lay your bet in until you can get someone that you truly believe can hold on to that title for 6 to 8 months as champion, whether that be Will Ospreay, whether that be MJF, whether that be Hangman. Um, that's the bet you made. That's the bet you have to lay in. The fact that you let the guy that you had planned to beat Mox go climb Mount Everest, that's on you as a promoter and booker. You should have really told him, hey, focus on your wrestling career, not what you want to do outside of your career. But yeah, so I definitely think that Mox is going to win. Swerve wins. It's a nice surprise. I just think it's a pivot just for the sake of a pivot. In my personal opinion, it's not really the correct pivot. It's just more of like you're just putting a band-aid over the gaping hole. And you really have to do well with Swerve as world champion his second time around. First time he was a fine world champion, but it was clear that, even though he was world champion, he wasn't always in like the best programs during his time as world champion. It wasn't until Danielson where he was in the best. So you have to find your way through that. He could always have it where Swerve wins and then Mox automatically, becomes the Mox wins the belt right back. To me, the person that has to reveal the briefcase, to open up the title, there has to be someone that like played a factor in the beginning. And Swerve wasn't really playing a factor at all when the Death Riders came. Will Ospreay did play a factor in that. And that's why I'm more leaning towards Will Ospreay should dethrone Mox than just who everyone is hot on Twitter because they're just tired of this Jon Moxley reign. Well, we can be tired until July because that's when it will probably end when Ospreay, because that's who I have winning the Owen, goes on and beats him. I just think you have to give it to someone that it would make sense for them to reveal the suitcase and the importance of it. So just have Mox keep building his resume. Oh, he beats another top end champion that adds to the resume and adds to his dominance. So Mox wins. But
For sure.
Swerve wins. To me, it's a weird pivot for Swerve to win. That's just me. From a storyline perspective, booking perspective, I just don't think Swerve as champion fixes your issues. I actually think it will cause a little bit more issues than you want to really let on. And also, I just feel Swerve getting a short title reign doesn't solve what you created with this world title mess. But that's just me.
Of course. Again, a lot could happen, right? Again, that shock. Oh my God, Swerve wins. But again, I just think John wins and he holds it up until July.